everybody. Welcome to the Jenni Carlson Show. I'm joined this week by a special guest, Lincoln Sefcik. And Lincoln, you are coming off one of the biggest wins of the entire college football weekend. South Alabama beating Oklahoma State. You are obviously a Jaguar, and we're so happy to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, hey, we're going to talk in a minute about your ties to this game that go beyond playing on Saturday. You've got some Oklahoma connections we need to talk about. But first, let's talk about what happened on Saturday in Stillwater. Huge win for you guys at South Alabama, 33-7 over Oklahoma State. You had 3 catches playing tight end for the Jaguars. Just walk me through what it was like on Saturday for you.
For me, I've been to a lot of games there. I've only been on the field maybe once or twice in my life, but coming into the town, like I passed my old neighborhood, and it was kind of like a settling feeling. But I had to work to keep my nerves down pregame, just because I get a little too amped up sometimes, and they knew that like going back there, it was going to be pretty intense. I think I did a pretty good job. I mean, once I was out there, it felt awesome.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk more about the game in a second, but you bringing up your neighborhood, you were born in Stillwater. Tell us about your Stillwater connections.
Well, my dad played at Oklahoma State, I think in 91, 92. I grew up there until I was in 8th grade. My grandma still lives there. My sister and her husband and 2 sons still live there. So, I mean, born and raised, really.
Wow. So what was that like when you drive into town and you're like, I know this road. Yeah. What was that like for you?
It definitely brought back some memories. It was honestly like I didn't really know what to expect. The week before, my dad came to the game. We had a home game, and he had said something like, I don't know, how do you think it's going to feel going out there? And I really didn't even think about it till then. And I was like, I don't know. And I was sitting next to my tight end when we were driving in, and I was like, another tight end on the team. And I was just like, it's just weird, like seeing my neighborhood, like places I used to go. It was just pretty cool.
Well, you mentioned your dad, Tim. He played at Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did you grow up cheering for the Cowboys? You surely didn't live in Stillwater through 8th grade and not pull a little bit for the orange and black.
Yeah, I would say I was diehard for sure. I mean, I went to away games, the 2011 season, which I think is probably their best season. I went to every game, and then I went to the Fiesta Bowl. I went to, I was there always. Huge fan.
Wow. So being in Boone Pickens Stadium was nothing new for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just being on the field was different.
So did you soak it in a little bit more maybe than other pre-games and those sorts of things before the game gets started?
Yeah, I was definitely just like kind of looking around and like seeing where I used to sit and just like taking it all in, just knowing it was going to be like a memory that, whether we lost or won, that it was going to be something I'll remember forever.
What was that section? Where'd you guys always sit?
The corner opposite of Gallagher. It was like 8 rows down from the video board.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you sort of looked over there and thought, from there to here I am.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about, we'll get back to the game in a second. Let's talk about your journey to South Alabama because, you mentioned you spent a ton of your time as a kid in Stillwater, but you actually didn't go to Stillwater High, went to Enid, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So how did your journey go from Stillwater to Enid and then junior college before you get to South Alabama? Kind of walk us through those years.
So, yeah, my dad ended up moving to Enid, and I just kind of decided that, it was going to work for me, and I maybe needed a new scenery to be around. And obviously it was scary, but I kind of got there and met the right people and got in with them. I didn't have the most successful, high school career as far as wins and losses, but I always worked hard. So after my senior year, I didn't know if I was going to be able to play college. I didn't really have anybody looking at me like that. And then my dad had sent over my film to Zach Allen, which he actually coaches at Oklahoma State now, but he was at NEO. And that day he was like, oh yeah, like I got to come see him. So, 2 or 3 days later, he came and talked to me before a wrestling duel. And he was like, yeah, like we're super interested. You fit like what we're looking for as far as like you have to develop more, because I only weighed, I think, 180 pounds, 185 maybe.
Yeah.
So he's like, you got to just come in and work hard. And I kind of took that and was like, all right, like, this is what I'm going to do. So I went to NEO for 3 years, 5 semesters. I gained a bunch of weight while I was there, and the COVID season happened, but South Alabama ended up offering me still, so I took it and went.
So when you moved to South Alabama, this is your 3rd year. Oklahoma State has obviously been on the schedule for a little while. Did you sort of have last Saturday as a game circled for you?
Yeah, so it was pretty cool so I was like kind of looking at Missouri State, who actually played, I think, Oklahoma State last year.
Yeah.
And South Alabama, I was like, well, I'm going to get to play them, either way. So it was definitely like something I looked at and I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to South. I got to play Oklahoma State in Stillwater.
So South Alabama gets you for a couple reasons. One being this game in 2023, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. So walk me through that. You talked about the nerves, getting into the game, not letting the nerves overtake you. How did it feel in the game? I know some of your teammates, some of your coaches have talked about they really felt like you guys might have the physical advantage. We're the better team out there. How did it go as this game is going on Saturday, Lincoln?
So the first drive that we came out, I think it was the second play, I caught a little hitch route. And after that, I was like, okay, yeah, like I'm fine. Like it's here, but I was so relaxed after that. I was like just kind of in that mode where, it didn't matter anymore. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah. You guys win, and there was a huge celebration on the field afterwards. What was that like to be on a field that is so familiar to you, but be celebrating a South Alabama victory?
I mean, I don't know if there's words to describe it. My Kane, our head coach, he came up to me when we were about to go into victory, and he was like, go stand behind the quarterback and just take it in. Just take it in. And I was like, all right. So I went out there, and he was like, how'd that feel? He just came up to me and told me how proud he was of me. And we went to the locker room and celebrated.
What's it been like back on campus this week? Big party in Stillwater, but then you guys take the team back. What's it been like on campus since then?
So this is homecoming week.
Oh,
I haven't really
wow.
been out and about. Yeah. So last night I had a big test. So I really haven't been out much. I just kind of spent the whole day studying, but definitely, our coaches are trying to, keep us locked in so we don't get ahead of ourselves, because we have a game 7 days later. So
Yeah.
they don't want us to hang around on the Oklahoma State win too much.
Definitely. You being a 3rd-year guy, though, do you have a sense of just what this means for the program more broadly? I mean, like you say, you've got more games this year, but when you think about program-wise and school-wise, what it means to have a win like this over a Power 5 team for things more broadly there at South Alabama.
Yeah, I think they've only had one Power 5 win against Mississippi State, and I don't know what year that was, but we had UCLA on the ropes last year, and we kind of just let them go down the field and kick a game-winning field goal, and that was super disappointing. And it was kind of like we knew we were good enough to do it this year and get the win, but for the program, I think it just puts us on a national stage getting that win that we needed.
Yeah, and I don't know if everybody's aware. I mean, it hasn't been but since 2012 that the program has been playing major college football. So this is still a young program that you're a part of. Do you sense that? Is that something you're thinking in another 20 years you're part of such a historic win for the program?
Yeah, definitely. As far as like our fan base, sometimes you'll like look up in the stands and people will be wearing like Alabama or Auburn stuff. And I mean, it's accepted, but I think in 20 years, if we just continue on this path we're on, it'll definitely grow.
So you're part of the South Alabama lore. I have to go back to your Oklahoma connections because I saw a picture that showed a pretty awesome tattoo that has Oklahoma all over it. Can you try to show that to us in the video here?
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah, there you go. You go. When did you get that? Talk us through that, Logan or Lincoln. I'm sorry.
I got it this summer, and I'd always wanted to like get something that tied me back to Oklahoma, and I got a buffalo on my shoulder that you can't really tell,
Oh
or a
yeah.
bison. Yeah, so I
Yeah,
kind
I
of
can see
it's
that.
like
Yeah.
an Oklahoma thing. And I mean, Oklahoma means a lot to me. A lot of people here know that, that's my state, and I really just love it. It's home.
It might be home, but you took it to the state when you were back here on Saturday.
Yeah.
You're okay with that, though.
I am.
Hey, lastly, I read that you are a Thunder fan.
Oh, I'm a
Do you have
huge Thunder fan.
huge Thunder fan? So, you
Huge
got
Thunder
any prognosis for this upcoming season for these guys?
Oh man, I'm excited to see Chet back. I love SGA. He's like really Russell Westbrook's my favorite player. Just I love him so much. I'm always arguing with people in the locker room how good he is. Um, they know I'm a diehard Westbrook fan. Wherever he goes, I'm there. Um, but we're a young team. I think we have a bunch of draft picks. I think if we want to make some moves on some players in the future, but I'm really excited about this season. I think we'll do real well.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Lincoln, can't tell you how much I appreciate you joining us to talk about that big 33-7 win you and the Jaguars authored on Saturday. I'm sure people in the state of Oklahoma will be watching for those South Alabama scores moving forward and hopefully looking for you in the box score. Thanks so much for joining us. And I want to tell everybody out there, you can find us on the Jenni Carlson Show, all of our other Sellout Crowd stuff at selloutcrowd.com or Spotify, YouTube, anywhere you find your favorite podcast. So thanks, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.